Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are talking about number 202, $1 Million Baby, which is a drama sport film from 2004. And this has an 8.1 on 584,485 votes. So the spoiler-free synopsis. Frankie Dunn is a veteran Los Angeles boxing trainer who keeps almost everyone at arm's length except his old friend and associate Eddie Scrap Iron Dupris. When Maggie Fitzgerald arrives in Frankie's gym seeking his expertise, he is reluctant to train the young woman, a transplant from working-class Missouri. Eventually, he relents, and the two form a close bond that will irrevocably change them both.
Alright, so this is directed by Clint Eastwood. He's directed movies like The Bridges of Madison County, Gran Torino, which we'll see on our list at number 158, and Unforgiven, which is number 117 on our list.
Yeah.
So he has a few films on here. Even if he's not, like, directing, he has some acting on here, too.
Yeah, he does.
And it stars Clint Eastwood, of course, Hilary Swank, and Morgan Freeman.
Yep. So the ratings. On IMDb, 32.8% of users rated this at an 8. The under 18 age group rated it the highest. Metacritic, it has an 86. Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 91 on 267 critical reviews. 242 are fresh, 25 are rotten. 2 of the fresh, Derek Malcolm. Anyone who doesn't believe that Clint Eastwood is one of the best filmmakers in America ought to see $1 Million Baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because sometimes I honestly forget that he's a director. Because I just see him acting in so much stuff that I forget he's a director too. And then when I see something that he directs and it's like super good, I'm just like, how do I always forget he's a director?
Yeah, I haven't forgotten.
There's so many. There's just so many. James Christopher, I'd be amazed if Swank failed to punch her way through a serious prize after this feat. She is an extraordinary bundle of ferocity and ice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course she got the big one for it.
Yeah. I think this was this review was right after it came out, so of course that was in December/January, so they had no idea if it was going to win any awards or not.
Yeah, and it did pretty well, so.
Yeah.
That's a little bit later.
Yeah. So, 2 rotten, Stanley Kaufman, who we've had before on both sides. The only difference between this new film and its many forebears are that the young hopeful is a woman, and the finish is unforeseen. It's like, well, that makes it completely different.
Yeah, it does, actually. Especially that end, but we won't talk about that yet.
Yeah. Josh Bell. It's strange that so many have mistaken its dull sincerity for something profound and moving. Don't agree.
What? Dull sincerity.
This guy's saying it sucks and he doesn't understand how people like it. Is how I'm taking it.
How do you not get this movie? It's not that hard to grasp.
Yeah.
He's got to pay attention.
Yeah.
This dude obviously does not pay attention or like this at all.
Yeah.
Whatever. Haters.
So, the consensus. Clint Eastwood's assured direction combined with knockout performances from Hilary Swank and Morgan Freeman help $1 Million Baby to transcend its cliches, and the result is deeply heartfelt and moving. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. It is very heartfelt, for sure.
Yeah. The money. The budget was $30 million. Opening weekend, it had two different ones. It had a limited release in December 15th in 2004. It made $179,953 in 8 theaters. And then its wide release in January of 2005. So like a month and a half later, it came out for the public, well, for the rest of the public. Made $12,265,482, and that was in 2010 theaters. And it ended up in 2,375 theaters for 191 days. In the U.S., it made $100,492,203. Internationally, it made $116,271,443 for a worldwide total of $216,763,646. It's crazy that the foreign and national, like, the two were so close.
Yeah.
Because normally, internationally, way outdoes what we can do here in America. Just because there's so many more countries.
Very true.
There's so many countries. So its all-time domestic rank is 722, and its highest all-time domestic rank, it hit 319 on May 29th of 2005. So, like 5 months after it came out. So, since it did release in December of 2004, it was able to be in the 2005 Oscars. And the Oscars it won were Best Motion Picture of the Year, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, Hilary Swank, Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role, Morgan Freeman, Best Achievement in Directing, Clint Eastwood. Things it was nominated for: Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role, Clint Eastwood, Best Writing, Adapted Screenplay, Paul Higgins, and Best Achievement in Film Editing, Joel Cox. Won 4 and was nominated for 3 others. And then that's just the Oscars. It had 64 other wins and 83 other nominations. So it had quite a bit of...
Yeah.
I mean, not as many as some of them we see that are up in like the 200s, but still, this is a movie from 2004. That's quite a few.
Plus, it's a boxing movie.
Yeah. So the Golden Globes, it won Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture Drama, Hilary Swank, and Best Director for a Motion Picture, Clint Eastwood. And then it was nominated for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Motion Picture, Morgan Freeman, Best Original Score, Motion Picture, Clint Eastwood, and Best Motion Picture Drama, which it did not win. It was beat out by Brokeback Mountain.
That's a good movie, actually. It really is.
I don't want to list a ton of awards, so those are all the awards that we're going to talk about. So, initial thoughts.
I watched this, I think, a few years after it came out. And I was like, okay, boxing movie. I like the Rocky series, so I'm all for this. Plus, Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman. I didn't know about Hilary Swank very much before I watched this, so she's kind of new to me. Whoa. Blew me away.
Yeah.
She's an amazing actress. She is. I really liked this movie. I really did.
Yeah. I knew what it was about, and so I never watched it because, like I said with Rocky, I don't like boxing. I just don't like it. So, when it was on the list, I was like, oh, of course we gotta watch another boxing movie. And we literally just got done, 2-3 months ago watching another boxing movie, so I was like, I don't want to watch this boxing movie. And so I watched it, and I watched it with Sean, and, I had asked him if he had seen it before, and he said, well, what's it about? Because I sent him the name, and he was, real confused. He was like, I don't think so. But then we were sitting there watching it, and, he was pre-reacting to stuff, there's certain parts where it's you need to not look at the screen because it's a boxing movie, so you see some injuries. But he was pre-reacting to it, so I was like, you have seen this before? He's like, yeah, I've seen it. I was like, why'd you tell me you didn't? And he's like, I didn't remember what it was called. But then we go through it, and it gets to that that big fight, And because there's always the big fight. And I asked him, I was like, is this going to be like Rocky where it takes 30, 45 minutes for the last fight? And he goes, you'll see.
Yep.
And I was just blown away at the last 30, 45 minutes of the movie. Because the beginning of it, it was cool. It was just sports movie, boxing. Oh, eh. But then it gets to the end. And I'm just you've got to be kidding me.
I probably would have told you the same thing, too. I'm just wait and see. Just wait. You'll see. Just wait.
So we just sat there and watched it, and I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, too, that end, I was like, wait, what? What's going on?
I was just... completely blown away, just completely shocked. I was not expecting it at all, which is a really good thing.
Well, it kind of does come out of left field, but if you've seen it before, like I have, you pay attention to clues. And there is some foreshadowing. But I'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all, because this was the first time I watched it, because I didn't want to watch another friggin' boxing movie, so I just hadn't seen it yet, and then this is when I watched it for this, it was the first time I watched it, so.
Wow.
But it was really good. I liked it way better than Rocky.
Oh. I can see why. I can. I mean, Rocky came out, in the 70s?
I think so.
And this one's a lot newer, so.
Well, it's not even that Rocky is that much older. I don't care about the age difference, because, it's just the way this one's presented, I think, as to why I liked it better.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Great director.
Yeah, he is. So I think that's all I've got for initial thoughts.
Yeah, same.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Alright, that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then come back after you've watched it. So, we start off with a boxing match, and we hear, of course, the voice of God,
Of course, the voice of God.
The voice of God,
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. That's all I could think when I was listening to him narrate this movie. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I've got God narrating a boxing movie. It's pretty awesome.
I always feel more comfortable when Morgan Freeman's narrating something. I do. I'm like, okay, I think I can know what's going on now. God is speaking.
I love Morgan Freeman.
Same.
But so you see the crowd and everything, and it's just like a boxing match, and then it focuses on this girl she's watching in the entry hallway thingy.
Yeah.
And the character that Clint Eastwood plays.
His name's Frankie.
Yeah. comes out and Hilary Swank's character, Maggie, is trying to get his attention because she wants him to train her. And he says no.
He's like, I don't train girls.
Yeah. And then he's in church. And he continually goes to church throughout this movie. And the priest is like, I don't understand why you come to church.
It's like he goes every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, there is daily mass, so you can go every day.
Yeah. But it's just funny because he's like, I don't understand why you come to church. And then we see the gym where Frankie works, as well as Eddie, which is Morgan Freeman's character. They both work there. Frankie owns the gym, and then Eddie just works there.
He's like the caretaker of it, almost.
Yeah. And then there's this kid. I think we may have had him before on our list. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but did you notice a young Falcon there?
Yeah, we've got a lot of young superheroes in this movie. Because we've got young Luke Cage, too.
Yeah, you're right.
And then also Michael Pena.
Yep.
He's not a superhero, but he's an Ant-Man.
Yep.
So.
You do. I was like, oh, look, I totally forgotten that he was in it. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, hey, Falcon.
Yeah, there's a lot of recognizable people in this movie.
There is.
His name is Danger. The kid, his name is Danger, and he's yelling about how he's going to be a world champ.
He is a scrawny little thing, a terrible boxer, but he's got a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Lots of heart.
So yeah, he's yelling about how he's going to be a champion and stuff. And then Willie comes in, which is the young Luke Cage. And he's like the gym's prize fighter, pretty much. Like, he's the one that's doing the best.
Yeah. And that's the one Frankie's been training too.
Yep. And he's the one that was in that very first boxing match there.
Yeah, and with that, right after the boxing match, someone asked, because Frankie's also the manager too, someone came up and asked if he wanted to do, like, a title fight.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, he's not ready. 2 more fights. And, like, Willie's like, you've been saying 2 more fights for years.
Yeah, he's like,
So
it's always 2 more fights.
And he's getting frustrated, which I can see why. He's not very aggressive.
Because, I mean, that's like the main event in boxing. That's like, title fights are comparable to the Super Bowl and the World Series and the World Cup, like, all of that. So, that's like where they get a lot of their praise and a lot of their money from. And he's just like, just put me in a title fight. Like, I need to be a champion. And Frankie's like, nah, you're not ready.
It's like, he's like, I've been ready.
Yeah.
So he's back in the gym and all that jazz.
Yeah. And there was some other managers in the gym just kind of sitting there. I guess they were observing other people, and they say hi to Willie, but Willie doesn't really talk to him.
Yeah.
And so, Scrap goes in, talks to Frank about it, and says, Willie's not talking to those managers. Which I guess is kind of a sign that if you're not talking to those managers, then that means you've already talked to them, and you're, like, going to go with them, because that's what happens. Not much later in the movie, Willie ends up leaving Frank.
Yeah.
And then Scrap also notices that Maggie has showed up at the gym. And he's like, since when are you taking on girls? He's like, I'm not. And then we see that she is actually a waitress. Well, I mean, she's a boxer and a waitress. She wants to be a boxer, but right now she's a waitress because that's what's paying the bills.
A very poor waitress. Because you see that she's, like, takes leftover food.
Yeah. And the guy's like watching her. She goes, "It's for my dog."
Yeah, dog. And then you see her eating it later. Like,
yeah.
That's sad.
Well, I think it's partially that she doesn't have a lot of money, but then also partially because she's trying to save up for stuff, too.
That's true.
So it could be a little bit of both. Like, she's not exactly the most well-off person, but then she's also trying to save her money. So,
I still think it's sad.
Yeah, it is. Her and Frankie tend to argue throughout this entire movie. They're arguing. First time Frankie goes and talks to her, he's like trying to give her money back for the gym. Like he's trying to tell her, go find someone else. Somebody else will train you. And she's just telling him, like, I don't want anybody else to train me. I want you to train me.
Yeah. She's very persistent.
Yeah.
And she just keeps hitting that punching bag. And
yep. And Scrap is telling Frankie that he needs to at least help her a little bit, because if he doesn't, then she's going to break her wrist because she's hitting the punching bag wrong.
Yeah. He does say that. And if you notice, like, a little bit later on, that she's there late, always working on it. And so, Eddie's like, he's like, all right, I'll give her, like, a few tips, you know?
Yeah.
Because even though Frank's like, don't help her, but he still does anyways.
Yeah. And, he gives her a speed bag, which was Frankie's old speed bag.
Yeah.
And we find out that, Scrap lives at the gym.
Yes. He lives at the gym in this back little room, and it's not the greatest living.
No, but, I mean, he doesn't have far to go to work.
No, that's very true. He steps outside his door.
But she just keeps working, and we see her working and stuff, while we also see him training Willie, because this is before Willie says he's leaving.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the two of them training, and then, like, Willie's got the trainer, and she's just working on her own. So it's, like, showing you the complete difference in how it looks. Anthony Mackie's character, Shaw, I think they call him. I think that's his name. Or Barry. It says Shawrell Barry.
Yeah.
That's his name. He likes to mess with Danger, because Danger's a little bit slow. And he just goes in there and pretends to box. Like, he just boxes in the air, like, punch in the air 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of, he's like examining water bottles, which is really funny. But Barry is messing with Maggie and Danger, making fun of them, like telling Danger, "Oh, here's someone you could beat," and messing with Maggie, the fact that she's there training.
And then she talks some smack to him, and it's funny.
Yeah, and everybody starts laughing, and he gets mad. But Frank sees that she is using his old speed bag, and so he goes to take it back from her because she doesn't know how to use it.
He's like, you're using this all wrong.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I don't have any training. I mean, I've been trying to do this for years, but I don't have any real training.
Yeah, she's like, I've been working at it for 3 years, but nobody's trained me. So, and he tells her that she's too old, because she's 31 right now, but that her birthday is, like, this is her birthday. He goes to, I think, nope, not yet. Not yet her birthday, but her birthday is coming. So she's about to be 32, and he says it takes 4 years to train a fighter.
Yeah, 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. And he's, like, gonna take the speed bag from her, but then he's like, oh, whatever, she can have it.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll just use it until I get my own.
Yep. Which she does get her own. She buys one. She saves up some money to buy one.
Yeah.
And then after this, we see Frankie is working on something at home. and Willie shows up. And this is where Willie says he's got a new manager, someone that's going to take him to a title fight. Which it kind of sucks, because that's Frankie's like, prize fighter. Like, that's who he's been working with for years.
Yeah.
And now he's leaving. Which means Frankie's own fault. He wouldn't put him in a title fight, so.
It's true.
And we're back at the gym again, and Scrap and Frankie are talking about Willie, about how Willie left, and he's got himself a title fight. And Frankie's like, yeah, I know. It sucks. Basically, without really saying that.
Yeah.
See, he's like one of those that doesn't really express his emotions very well. We see like a little reel of Maggie working. Like she's working and saving up her money and stuff, and then she finally gets to go buy herself a speed bag. And
she like dumps out like this money and like a bunch of like coin rolls and all of this.
Yeah, the guy's just looking at her like, what in the world?
And she's like, thank you, and then just like walks away. I'm like, how adorable is that? She saved all of her money to get herself a speed bag.
Yep. And then we see Frank watching Willie's title fight. Willie wins, right?
Yes, he does. He knocks him out pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah. This kind of makes Frankie a little bit upset, because he was thinking that Willie wasn't ready, but then here it is, Willie just proved him wrong, that he was ready, so he's just like, if I'd only given him a chance, he would have a prize, like, title fighter, and that's good for your gym, because if you have a title fighter, more of them are going to want to come to your gym.
Yeah, that's true.
Make more money that way. So he had a burger, and he takes it to Scrap, for Scrap to eat. Takes it to the gym, and he goes and talks to him, and they're talking about something. And he hears the speed bag going, and he goes over to talk to Maggie, because of course she's there training. And this is when we find out that it's her birthday, and she just turned 32.
Just turned 32.
Yeah. And he's talking to her and telling her like how she does it wrong, and he goes through like his whole story, or no, she goes through like her whole story, like about how nobody ever really believed in her, and this is what she wants to do with her life. Like, yeah, she realized it a little bit late, but what does that matter? Like, if she's determined, then she thinks she can do it, then she'll be able to do it. That's all it really takes. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of hard work, but if you put your mind to it, then you can do it.
Yeah, that's true.
So he agrees to help her and train her. But he gives her the rules on being the trainer for her. Which is kind of funny. He's like, no arguing. But then, like, literally the rest of the movie, she argues. Or she tries not to argue with him, but sometimes she does. And then other times she just doesn't even listen to him.
Argues, and then he's like, don't ask questions. And she always asks questions.
Yeah.
Always. He's like, yeah. She never listens to what I say.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so we've got... we see a lot of her training and stuff, and I mean, I don't really know anything about boxing, but it looks like she's getting better.
Yeah, he told her, he's like, your problem is you're not moving your feet.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta move your feet.
Yeah. And so we see her, like, all over the place just moving her feet. Like, when she's at work, she's working on moving her feet. When she's training, she's moving her feet. When she's at home, she's moving her feet. So she's working on it. So she's trying. And then she keeps practicing and practicing. And then she keeps telling him that she's ready for a fight. And he's like, no, you're not. And we do see her training with someone else. Like, besides just Frankie. He's got another girl in the ring in there with her for practicing. And he tells her that she holds her breath.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I don't.
It's like you're holding your breath.
Yeah. She keeps telling him that she's ready for a fight. And he says, well, if you're ready for a fight, then here's another manager who'll find you a fight.
Yeah, and so she does talk to that other manager. He does get her a little fight.
Yeah, but he doesn't, like, help her during the fight.
No.
Like, he just says, oh, you're doing a great job. And she's like, I just need to be told what to do.
Yeah, and Frankie and Eddie are watching from up above, and he's just like, he's like, you're dropping your left, keep your left up. Like, trying to, like, yelling instructions. And Eddie's like, she can't hear you.
I mean, okay. If you listen to my mom, she can't hear him. Because my mom says when I yell at the TV, I yell at them because they can hear me.
It's okay, I do the same thing too.
So, I mean, they can't hear you. But so he goes down there to the ring and just, like, says, Sally, you're not doing this right. And talks to Maggie and tells her, like, what she needs to do. And the ref is like, who's the fighter? Like, whose fighter is this? Like, trying to figure out which manager to listen to. And Maggie's like, go away, Sally. And listens to Frankie on what she needs to do to win the fight. And she does win the fight. Because she listens to Frankie's advice on how to finish this girl.
Yep, and she does.
Uh-huh. And so after the fight, he's, like, cleaning her up. You know, she's got some blood and stuff.
Should also explain, too, that it showed just a little bit of it, but there's another, like, little backstory with Frankie. How, the priest asked him, like, are you writing to your daughter? And he's like, every week. And the priest didn't believe him. And he is writing to his daughter every week. She just never answers him. She always sends the letters back.
Yeah, return to sender.
I'm like, that's a little important in this.
He puts it in a box.
Full of boxes, actually. There are a bunch of shoe boxes he has in his closet.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's an important thing to have, remember, in this. Because he has a strange relationship with his own daughter.
Yeah. And he, it's funny because he's asking Maggie about her job. And, like, if they have good homemade pie. She's like, yeah, I think so. And he goes, it's like, what was he asking about? Lemon meringue pie or key lime pie, something like that?
Lemon meringue.
And, he goes, is it made out of a can? He says, well, she says, well, it says homemade on the can. And he just shakes his head at her. But he told her to take the weekend off after her fight because, you know, she won. She deserves a little break. And she starts to argue with him, but he says, don't argue. And so she just says, okay, boss. And then next day she shows up at the gym.
There. And he's like, what are you doing here? I told you to take the weekend off. He's like, you told me not to argue with you.
Yeah. And he just shakes his head and walks away.
He's like, oh, this kid.
And Eddie is not very well off either. We see the holes in his socks.
Oh yeah, that made me laugh.
I was like, they just have a whole conversation about socks. I'm just like,
he's like,
me.
It's like, why are there holes in your socks? These are my nighttime socks. It's like, well, what about your daytime socks? Those have too many holes in them. I'm like, oh god. He's like, can I give you some money for socks?
Yeah.
That was funny.
And then we see Maggie gets some more fights, and they're all, like, really quick fights. She keeps knocking everyone out in the first round. And they're all 4-round fights. And, it's getting to the point where nobody wants to fight her. Like, nobody wants to put their fighter up against her because they just get knocked out in the first round. Like, they're like, I don't want to put my fighter up against that. But Frankie's saying that she's not quite ready for a 6-round fight because she's still holding her breath when she gets stressed.
Yeah.
So, he says she's not quite ready for it, but he does end up getting her a 6-round fight instead of a 4-round fight. And she's fighting, and she knocks the other girl out at the end of the first round instead of the beginning.
It's like, she waited a little bit. She
Yeah.
waited. Yeah. And I would like to point out that her rounds get over so quickly that he always has to keep that stool in his hand.
Yeah.
And he always has to put it back so quickly.
Yeah, he doesn't even put it down on the ground. He just holds it.
Just hangs on to it. That's what I'm talking about. Just think about that if you watch it again next time.
Yeah, I see what you mean now.
Yeah. There you go. I thought I'd help you there.
Yeah. I never really noticed that when I watched it the first time. But so he has to start bribing other managers to get her fights because nobody wants to fight her because she just knocks out the fighters so fast. So she moves her up in weight class, I guess?
Yes. She gets moved up.
And her first fight in the new weight class, at least it seems like it's her first fight in the new weight class. This is the part where Sean was pre-reacting to it. He knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And so, her nose gets broken, and she's like, no, I want to keep fighting. He's like, well, I'm going to have to fix it so that you can keep fighting. And Sean's, sitting there pre-reacting, so I know that this is going to be the most disgusting thing in the world. So I just don't even watch. I only hear him fix her nose. I was like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me.
It wasn't that bad.
I don't like it.
Oh. I don't know, I guess I'm just used to stuff like that. I don't know.
I can't stand it. If I can watch it and feel what they are doing, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's in the 1980s Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
He, this part I can't watch because it hurts. It hurts me just watching it. He sticks his 2 fingers up his guy's rib cage and rips some things out. And I'm like, I can never watch that part. I know it's going to happen. I've seen it lots of times, so I just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where if I can, if I see it and I can feel that pain, I'm not gonna watch it. That's not happening.
I get you. I do.
It's phantom pain just from watching it. It just hurts. But so he fixes her nose and tells her she has 20 seconds to finish the fight or she's gonna lose too much blood and need to be rushed to the hospital. And so she says, okay. And she finishes the fight in 20 seconds. She wins. And they're at the hospital and stuff. But after the fight, they go to the hospital to get her nose fixed. You could see when she gets called, he's really irritable because she hasn't been called yet and they've been there a while. And then also, when she walks off to go into the room, he's super worried. So you can see that he's starting to actually really take a liking to her. Well, not starting to, but he's built up this connection with her.
It's like a daughter to him at this
Yeah.
point. Because his own daughter does not want anything to do with him.
Yeah, so he looks at her like his daughter.
Yeah. And she doesn't have her dad anymore because it says that he died.
Yeah.
When she was younger.
Yeah, I think she said when she was 11, I think.
I forgot the age.
But yeah, he's super worried about her, and that's why he is telling her he doesn't, because he thinks that she's not quite ready for a title fight, but she keeps getting offered title fights. Because we see a few more quick 6-round fights that end up only being 1 round because she knocks him out.
Always.
And he turned down the German champion because that was a title fight that she could have fought, and then also the British champion. He turned them both down because he said that he's really worried about it and she's not ready. And we see when they're talking about the German one that she's one of those that is considered a dirty fighter. She pushes the rules and pushes the boundaries.
Oh yeah, she's just dirty.
Yeah. Which, now that I know the ending, that's foreshadowing too.
Yep.
Because that's that same fighter from the one she fights later on.
Yes.
He visits her at work to tell her about the British fight, and she's like, well, I'm ready. He's like, there's nothing for you to gain and nothing for her to lose. There's no point in fighting that fight. For the British one.
Yeah.
And he just straight up turned down the German one because she's a dirty fighter. So he has been telling her throughout all these fights that she needs to keep her left hand up to protect herself. Because she doesn't protect herself. And so we see her taping her hand up to her face.
Yep.
So she can learn to, like, muscle memory, keep it up there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, this is so funny. But then Scrap comes up and tells her, he's like, you need to go take a shower, I've got us a dinner reservation. So she goes and showers and stuff, and then they go to this little diner and have some cake. And...
because it's her birthday.
Yeah. So she's 33 now.
Yep. 33.
She turned 32 whenever Frankie agreed to train her. So she's been working with him for a year. Now, she's gotten a lot better. She's doing really good. But there's another manager. It's that same manager that took Willie. His name is Mikey, and he walks in. Scrap notices that Maggie doesn't talk to Willie. Or Mikey, sorry, not Willie.
Yeah, the other manager.
The other manager, and he's like, you're not talking to him? She's like, well, I have a manager, why would I talk to him?
Yeah. He does tell her, explains why Frankie is, like, so hesitant to put, boxers, be aggressive, putting boxers in, like, title matches because of him.
Yeah, because it was in a title match that he lost his eye. Well, not lost it, but became blind.
Blind in one of his eyes.
Yeah.
Because Frankie what happened was, it was Eddie's 109th match. He'd been boxing for years. And technically, Frankie wasn't the manager, so he couldn't pull him out. Yeah. And Eddie's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I kept getting hits, and finally he lost his vision in that one eye. And Frankie feels bad about it.
Yeah. And that's when he says that Frankie's probably not the one that's going to take her to a title match. So she might want to talk to Mikey.
Yes.
So Scrap leaves and she goes over and talks to Mikey. But she tells Mikey that she's not going to leave Frankie. Like, that's who she wants to be with. That's who she wants to train her. That's who she wants to be her manager. So we see Frankie get some more of the letters that he sent to his daughter.
Yeah.
Just some more, I don't want you to ever talk to me, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Frankie goes and visits Maggie at home. He seems kind of shocked by where she lives. Which is really funny because it's kind of reminiscent of Rocky.
Yes.
When his manager comes and sees where he lives, and it's just funny.
It's a small little apartment.
Yeah. So he has a VHS in his hand, and he says, this is a tape on the British title holder. Like, you gotta do some studying, so where's your machine? She's like, what machine? She's, like, super excited because if she's watching tape, that means that she's gonna fight her. So she's, like, super excited about it, but then,
she doesn't have a VHS.
Yeah,
I mean, a VCR.
The VCR player, so she's like, well. So I think they probably go back to, like, the gym or something and watch it, because he's got to have one.
Yeah.
He shows his other fighters tape. And he, got her a robe. It was actually a really nice robe.
Yeah. And she's saying that she wants to buy a little house.
Yeah. She wants, because that's what, he says. You just save up your money and get something for you.
Yeah.
Get something that you're going to remember, like, for yourself for the rest of the, like, once you retire from boxing, because you got to have something.
That's true. So, yeah. The European stuff. He gives her his green robe.
Yeah.
It's got a Gaelic, a saying on the back.
Yeah. The symbol kind of reminds me of the symbol that's on Guinness.
A little bit. Was it the saying, like, more cushioning?
Something like that, yeah.
And, like, he won't tell her what it means, either.
No, he doesn't.
It's important, though, later.
It is. But he fights the British title holder, or she fights the British title holder, and knocks her out in the second round.
Yeah.
She makes it to the second round. And then she gets fights all over the world. And everyone is so impressed by her, and they like her a lot. She's like fighting all over the world and everything. And then there's this one guy at a fight that is sitting in the crowd, and he's just like, does not seem very impressed at all. And he offers her a title fight. Well, he offers it to Frankie for her. A title fight where it's 60-40, and Frankie's like, which way 60-40? And he's like, 60 my person, 40 yours. And he's like, no. He wants it to be 50-50 or 60-40 his way. Or they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Because he says that she's the main attraction. She's who everyone wants to see. And it's funny because, like, after one of the fights, Maggie's asking how her opponent is doing.
And he tells her what she's got, like, a broken eardrum and other things. And she's like...
He's like, a concussion and all that.
It's like, should I send her something?
Like, is she gonna be okay? And it's just like, she's a good person. She's like super worried about her opponent. And then she tells Frankie that she bought that house that they were talking about. But she says that she bought it for her mom.
Yes.
And this when they go visit her mom.
Yes, and the house is just like, it's really close to her mom's house.
Her trailer.
Her trailer, and we go see them, and they're complete and utter trailer trash.
Yeah. Like, Mom is not happy at all because if the government finds out that she has this house, they're going to take away the welfare and the Medicaid and all that. And so we find out later that she does keep the house. Mom keeps the house, but they keep it in Maggie's name so that Mom and sister can live there and still get all their government assistance.
Yes. And the mom, I was like, I recognized her from somewhere. Where do I recognize her from? And then I remembered the TV series, The Act. Yeah, complete white trash. Completely.
I mean, she's a great actress.
I know. She's a great actress. Like, you hate her.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. You want to hate her.
Yeah. But she's just like being like, her daughter just bought her this house, and she's just sitting there tearing apart her daughter's career.
And she's like, well, where's the fridge? Where's the stove? Where's all this stuff? And she's like,
well, it'll be here before you move in. You just gotta give it time. Like, I just bought the house.
It's like so ungrateful.
Yeah. And then her mom also says that everyone laughs at Maggie. Like, she tells them what Maggie's doing, and they just laugh at her. It's like, why would you laugh at someone that's making millions of dollars? Well, probably not millions yet, but she's on her way to making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, why would you laugh at someone that's doing that well for themselves?
Because they're not doing well for themselves, and they need something, bring them down back to their level.
Little shitheads, you mean?
But that's psychology talking.
Yeah. So they leave, because she took Frankie with her. They leave, and they're at the gas station, and she sees this little girl, in the car with the dog, and she waves at her. And you can see that Maggie's just, like, really thinking hard about what her mom said. Like, she's just kind of considering it,
Yeah.
And, then she turns to Frankie when he gets in the car and says that she thinks she wants a dog. I'm just like, what? Because she saw the dog over in the car, and the dog was really cute.
Yeah. And then they go to, like, this diner.
Uh-huh.
Where she's telling Frankie about her dad and all that, because that was, like, her dad's favorite. And they have really good lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, it's where her and her dad used to go.
Yep. Telling her stories about her dad and how they used to have a dog. But they had to put the dog out because it was hurting too much.
Well, he
Hint,
couldn't
hint.
walk.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed once she said that, and then like later on, and then once you get past this next fight, I saw that one too. There's a few that I saw like after it gets to the end of the movie, like I realized it, but then there's some other ones like the chair one that you said I didn't realize.
Yeah, you just gotta watch it. After a few watches, you're like, oh, okay, I get you.
Yeah. So, he also tells her that when they're at the diner that she has a fight. She has a fight for the title. That they got 50-50.
Yes.
So he agreed to do the fight. And, then we're back at Frankie's gym. And it's funny, Danger's messed around with the water bottle again. So Scrap asks him, he's like, do you have a question? Or something. Or, no, Danger says, can I ask you a question? Even though it might be dumb. And Scrap goes, there's no such thing as dumb question. But then he asks, how did they get the ice into the water bottle through that tiny hole? And I was just like, that is the dumbest question I've ever heard in my life.
And he just laughs it off. He's like, come on, I'll show you.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that he just doesn't straight up tell him you're an idiot. It's good that he actually cares for Danger, and it's like, well, I'll explain it to you.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah. And so Scrap is, he's basically the janitor at this gym. So he goes and, Barry tells him that the toilet's overflowing. And so he goes in there and, tries to fix it. And Barry did this on purpose. Like, he did something with the valve in the back to overflow the toilet. Because he wants to beat the crap out of Danger.
Yeah, this is while Frankie and Maggie are at their boxing match, the title match.
Yeah, like they're getting ready for it and stuff.
Yeah, and he hears like some like sounds of like fighting going on. Mm-hmm. Eddie does, and so he goes out and he sees that like Barry just beating the crap out of Danger.
Yeah, and so. Scrap stops him, and he takes one of Danger's gloves and starts beating the crap out of Barry.
Completely beats the dude down with one glove on.
Yeah.
One glove. He's like, 110.
Yeah. And then he turns around and Danger is gone. So then, now we're focusing on Maggie's big fight. And, he says, Frankie tells her that he got some pipers for her. So she comes in with a bit like this. She's got everybody cheering. She's got the pipers going and everything. And they're just taking full advantage of this. And it's a great entry. Like, it's really cool. It's like, what's his name? I don't remember his name, never mind. But then her opponent comes in, and it's, Blue Bear or something like that is her name? Yeah, the Blue Bear.
Yeah.
Is her opponent, and that's the German, chick. The
champion.
Yeah, the champion. So she's a champion of the world, but she's also Germany's champion. So they're fighting and stuff, and Blue Bear is breaking the rules because, I mean, as we were shown before, that's what she's known for.
Dirty boxer.
Yeah.
Like, tries to grab them around their head and tries to, like, hurt their neck like that.
Yeah. And, Frankie sees this, so he tells Maggie to take some cheap shots, too. Like, right under...
He says right on the sciatic nerve.
Yeah.
Which is in your... It's in your leg, but it goes up all the way through your back.
Yeah. She was, So that's what Maggie was doing, and that was, of course, pissing off the Blue Bear because she knew what she was, like, she knew what Maggie was trying to do. And, so the end of the third round dings, and Frankie puts out the chair, and the Blue Bear takes a really cheap shot, like, Maggie's not even looking, they're not supposed to be fighting each other at all, and Bear just takes a cheap shot to the back of her head, knocks Maggie over, and I was like, oh god, and Sean goes, just wait, because, like, you know, it's like slow-mo here.
Yeah.
And he's like, just wait. And then she falls and hits her neck on the chair.
Yep.
And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. And I was like, no, she's done, she's paralyzed. And Sean just, like, doesn't even say anything, because he knows I'm right.
Yeah. And she's just, like, out.
Yeah. Like, they're trying to get her up, but she's knocked out. Which sucks, because even though technically that was a bad sportsman and, like, against the rules for Blue Bear won because Maggie's knocked out.
Technically, she should have been disqualified, because that was her. She was
That
told
was
that...
her third warning.
Yeah, she was told that if she did anything, she would be disqualified.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, there's a plot hole there.
Yeah, there is, because later on, they say that Maggie lost that fight, but I'm like, but...
Technically, she should not have, because her opponent made a cheap shot, and that was her last one. So technically, Maggie should have won.
Yeah, so I think they just forgot. Like, that was just a little bit, like you said, the plot hole thing there.
A little plot hole. I noticed that, but...
Yeah, I noticed it. I was like, wait a second. But I was like, yeah, whatever. But so they're in the hospital, and Frankie and Scrap visit. They find out it's real bad, and she's paralyzed. So
she's paralyzed, and she can't breathe on her own.
Yeah, on her own.
She has to have a respirator.
Yeah. And so Frankie is blaming Scrap because Scrap is the one that started training her and helping her out and convinced Frankie to do it.
And I'm like, that is just pain speaking and lashing out.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah. And so Frankie's, like, trying to find someone who can do something to help her. Like, someone who can fix it. But there's no fixing this.
No, she's paralyzed and can't breathe on her own.
Yeah.
It's not going to be well. Not a good thing.
Yeah. And so we see that she's getting ulcers on her skin because, you know, she can't move. She has to sit in the same position all the time.
They're bed sores. Yeah. Yeah. I recognize them. Both my grandfathers actually ended up with bed sores because they were bedridden the, last few weeks of their lives. So.
Yeah.
I know about bed sores. Yeah.
Yeah. So they move her to this rehab center. It's like one of the best rehab centers. It's in California. She's been trying to get, Frankie's been trying to get Maggie's mom to come visit because she's been asking for her mom, and so she waits every day for her mom and stuff. And Frankie finds out that mom has been out there for like a week.
Yeah.
But still hasn't come to visit yet. She's
been out there being a tourist and going to all these things like Universal Studios and like Disneyland.
Disneyland. And she's like, well, we would have taken her if she could have gone to Disneyland, but she wouldn't have enjoyed it. She's just been sitting there. I'm like, okay, that's wrong. Like, even though she can't go on the rides and stuff, there's still a lot that she can enjoy.
Exactly.
Like, Disney World is not, and Disneyland, is not just about the rides. Like, there's so much more than that. There's shows, there's characters you can meet and take pictures with. Like, that's just not fair.
Yeah. Exactly. But these people are awful.
Yeah. So, her mom finally comes to visit her. And they're sitting there wearing the Universal shirts and the Disneyland shirts. I'm like, what in the world?
And Frankie's like, I think you should go back and change because she doesn't know you've been here this long.
Yeah. And they're like, oh no, we're not going to do that. And so they go in and her mom is trying to get Maggie to sign this paper and agree to basically make her mom in charge of all her money and all her assets and all her medical stuff. Because her mom, quote unquote, believes that the boxing commission isn't going to take care of her for the rest of her life. Maggie, anyways. So she just wants all of Maggie's money to do with as she pleases.
Exactly.
Instead of letting her daughter figure it out for herself. So, they've got some lawyer there, and Maggie asks her mom if she saw the fight, and her mom goes, well, I didn't have to. I heard about it, and you lost. And that makes Maggie really mad. She's like, but I did really good. She's like, I did good.
Yeah, because she was actually winning. Yeah,
and her mom's like, well, you still lost. So I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. I hate her mom. Like, this is the worst freaking thing in the world. Like, your daughter is paralyzed and stuck in the bed for the rest of her life, and you're sitting there being rude to her and trying to take all her money.
Yeah. Some people are that awful.
Yeah. But so Maggie realizes this and gets mad and, like, won't sign the paper because, you know, she has to put the pen in her mouth because she can't use her hands. And so she, like, spits the pen out and threatens her mom. She said, if I ever see you back here again, I'm going to sell that house from under you. Because she never put it in her mom's name. Maggie kept it in her name so that her mom could keep the welfare. So she's like, I'm going to sell the house from under you. And so her mom storms out all crying and everything because she didn't get the money she wanted.
Yeah.
It's not because her daughter's mad at her. It's because she didn't get the money she wanted.
That's exactly it. Money grabbing people.
Yeah. And so we see the doctor. He's coming in and he's examining. She's got a pretty big ulcer on the back of her leg. And Maggie knows, like, even though she can't feel it, Maggie knows it's not good. Like, she can smell it.
It's gangrene.
Yeah, it's, she's got to lose the leg, is what he says.
Yeah.
'Cause at this point, there's nothing they can do with it.
No, so they have to cut off that part of her leg.
Yeah.
And Frankie's there with her, like, the entire time.
Yeah, Frankie's always there. And, he comes in with this, like, course catalog.
Yeah.
For a little community college nearby, and he says, we can get you one of those wheelchairs that you control, like, with blowing into a straw and stuff. And you can start taking some classes. I found some in here that I thought you might like. And, she's just like, she's beyond that. She doesn't want anything to do with being alive anymore. She's past the point of caring. Like, all she wanted was to be a boxer. And now she doesn't have the ability to, because, like, even if they do somehow miraculously fix her from being paralyzed, she's lost her leg.
Yeah, she can't be a boxer. So she talks to Frankie.
Yeah.
And she asks him, she's like, do you remember when my dad did for the dog?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, he knows exactly what she wants, and he can't do it because this is, like, his daughter.
And she's like, I had my chance. I remember them hearing my name and everything.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to go out that way.
Yeah. She's like, I want to go out on my terms. I don't want to sit here and rot away. Because that's basically what's happening.
It is.
So he leaves because he can't take it. She's sitting there talking about assisted suicide, basically. Which is really what it is, assisted suicide, because she can't do it.
No.
She tries. He gets a phone call in the middle of the night that said that he gets called and she bit her tongue.
Yep, she bit her tongue, and she's bleeding out, and all that,
Yeah.
and she has to the doctors have to stitch her back up. But she did lose a lot of blood from it.
Yeah, and they're keeping her sedated so she doesn't try it again. Because they stitched it up and then she ripped out the stitches, so they keep her sedated and they put some padding in her mouth so that she can't do anything, like she can't bite. Frankie apologizes to Scrap, saying it wasn't his fault. There's nothing either of them could have known, like neither of them could have known this was going to happen.
Yeah, and he talks to the priest too.
Yeah.
About all this. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Then the priest say, don't do it.
He says, put it in, God's hands and all that. I'm like, okay, like a typical priest would say, of course.
Yeah.
And he's like, but she's slowly just, like, dying there.
Yeah.
And, it's like, she wants to, but she's dying here, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah. So he goes back, and he agrees to do it. He tells her, I'm going to disconnect the machine, and you're going to fall asleep, and I'm going to give you the shot, and you'll just stay asleep.
Yeah.
And then he also tells her what her name means on the back of her robe, the name that he gave her. It means, my darling, my blood.
Yeah. It's a term of endearment.
Yeah, and she is, like, really happy about that. So he does it. He disconnects the machine and gives her the adrenaline shot. And so she falls asleep. And it flatlines. She has passed away.
I'm like, it was pretty quickly that went into her system.
Yeah.
That was a little unrealistic, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was like,
quick.
I don't think it goes that quickly. I mean, it's probably quick, but not that quick.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea how fast that would work.
I was like, because it has to go through, because the adrenaline had to get to her heart, and it went through, like, the tube. So.
Yeah. So I guess it really just depends on the person, and that might be how this works, too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
But so then we see Scrap is at the, back at the gym, and he's waiting, but Frankie never comes back. Never shows back up. But Danger did come back.
Yes. And he's like, you know what? You can lose one fight. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always one, and you can always lose at least one.
Yes. That's me. Just don't stop.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going.
And so Scrap's like, alright, well, you've missed out on a lot of training, so you better get back. So he goes back and punch in the air again.
Punch in the air. So cute.
Last thing we see is Frankie went to the place where him and Maggie went. That place where Maggie and her dad used to go for pie.
Yeah, the little diner.
Yep. And then we also see Scrap is writing a letter. This whole thing has been a letter to Frankie's daughter.
Telling him what kind of man her father really is.
Yeah.
I think that's literally like the last line too.
Yeah. So, the music, not only did Clint Eastwood direct, produce, and star in this movie, he also composed the music.
Yeah.
He's just a one-man show here, pretty much.
He does write a lot of music for his movies. I've noticed that.
I think he's got 10 or 12 writing credits or composing credits. Because I was looking at it. His first one that he did was Mystic River, which came out the year before this one. And then the latest one that he did was J. Edgar from 2011.
Oh.
But he's got, I think 12 credits for movies that he's composed the music for.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah. So my guess is he went to someone to have him help him out with it. To begin with, and then now he just does it because he's determined and he figured it out. Wants the music to be his way, not someone else's vision.
Exactly. A little controlling, but I mean it works.
I mean it works out.
It does.
So there is a book of stories on this one.
Yeah.
By, I didn't get the chance to read it because I could not find it. FX Tool.
Yes.
Is the author.
Yes.
Of those little stories, so. I don't know how they compare.
It says it's Rope Burn Stories from the Corner.
Yeah, I could not find.
I couldn't either. It's good. I think the stories are pretty... I think they take, like, bits and pieces from some of the stories.
Yeah.
And added it to the $1 Million Baby one.
So, yeah, I don't really know much comparison of that one.
No.
Do you have any trivia for it?
So this was Mike Coulter's first feature film. Luke Cage.
Oh, okay.
It was his first big film he did. And this is only one of 2 boxing movies that have won Best Picture. Rocky and this one.
Yeah.
Only 2 that have won. So the boxer, Blue Bear, she's an actual boxer.
Yeah, I did notice that.
She's a boxer and a kickboxing champion. Yes. And she was also Hilary Swank's boxing coach for the movie.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So, her students fighting her. That's cool.
I wonder if she knew when she signed up, because sometimes they will keep the big, spoilery moment of the movie hidden from everyone until it comes time to rehearse that. So I wonder if when they were training, if, Lucia is her name, if she knew that she was going to do this to the character.
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Like when they were training?
Yeah.
Because I feel like she'd feel really bad training her just to know that this is what's going to happen during the movie.
Yeah. That's true. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool. It's her 3rd movie. The boxer.
Mm-hmm. It is.
She's been in a few things.
The author, he knew about that Clint Eastwood was going to be doing this movie and directing it and starring in it a month before he died.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So you never got to see the completed film, but he knew about it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
At least he knew.
He did know about it. And so this movie was shot in, I think, 37 days or so. Oh. Because they started shooting in July of 2004. And they put it in December. Because they wanted to qualify for the Academy Awards.
That's a quick turnaround.
It is a complete quick turnaround.
Well, because I understand why they did it. Because otherwise, they would have had to wait another year to be qualified for the Academy Awards. And with how fast they were going on the movie, that put them at January release. Like, they had their wide release in January. Or, January or February. And those are, the dead months. That's where movies typically go to die.
Yeah.
There's a few movies that have come out in January and February that are actually really good. But most of the time, the movies that come out in that time just end up really just not doing well at all.
Yeah. That's true.
So I understand why they tried to go so fast on it.
Yeah, it was a really quick turnaround for sure. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then, what is it? What's the other one? I think why it's, why people like it so much besides the boxing thing is they didn't know what to expect. Especially at the end.
Yeah.
It's a boxing movie. You're like, great, good, maybe she'll get her title, she'll win, be like Rocky. No.
That's exactly what I was expecting. And when I saw it was on the list and I knew it was a boxing movie and then it came up to it and I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, we've got a female version of Rocky. Wonderful. And then I saw it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. I was like, why is it so long?
It's the end.
Yeah, and then we get to the fight, and I asked Sean, I was like, is this going to take up does this fight take up the last 30, 45 minutes of the movie? And he goes, you'll see. And then I saw, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was not expecting it at all.
It's that gut-wrenching feeling of like, oh my god, this just happened. And then it deals with not just the boxing anymore. It deals with about,
the aftermath.
The aftermath, having her dealing with, it is this assisted suicide in a way. Dealing with those morals, should you help somebody if they're in that situation and all that. So.
Yeah. And I think that really just comes down to the person, both the one trying to die and the person that they are asking. So.
Agreed. I mean, it's all up to you. It's your personal opinion.
Yeah.
It is. I've always heard quality, not quantity of life, but
yeah.
That's so, that little girl in the truck
with the dog.
Yes, that's Clint Eastwood's daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's about what I got for trivia.
Okay. So where it has been on the list before, in 2010 it was number 148, in 2012 number 172, 2014 number 190, 2016 number 204, 2018 number 200, and then as of today when we were recording, it is number 199. So it did drop quite a bit, but then now it's going back up. So previously, at number 202, the 2010 list, The Battle of Algiers from 1966. The 2012 list, The Wild Bunch from 1969. The 2014 list, Strangers on a Train from 1951. 2016 list, The Grand Budapest Hotel from 2014.
Woo!
Which that's on our list.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. I love that movie.
Probably like 2.5 months away from now. The 2018 list, Rush from 2013, which is about 2 months away from now. A month and a half.
Yeah.
And then as of today when we are recording, The Bandit from 1996.
I don't know why that movie sounds so familiar to me.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So, favorite line.
Oh, man, I got a few of them.
Yeah.
It's the magic of risking everything for a dream that nobody sees but you.
Yeah.
That's Eddie's line. He's got a lot of good lines in here. For sure. The socks thing. That was funny.
Yeah, the socks thing was funny.
These are my sleeping socks. My feet like a little air at night.
Yeah.
Or, it says it on his wall, too, at the very end. It says, tough ain't enough.
Yeah.
I like that line, too. I mean... oh, this one made me laugh because it's a priest cursing. It says, there are no demigods, you fucking pagan.
Yeah.
That made me laugh so hard. Especially from a priest. That was great. I mean, yeah, there's just a bunch of good lines in here. I can keep going, but I'll let you say yours.
Willie, when he's leaving, you already taught me everything I need to know. Then, basically, Frankie repeats the same thing when he's talking to Maggie, telling her he's going to train her. I teach you all you need to know, then you go off and make $1 million. Trouble in my family comes by the pound. Protect myself at all times, which is another foreshadowing, because when she gets that cheap shot, she's not protecting herself because she didn't think she had to.
Yeah.
I've got nobody but you, Frankie. And then my two favorite, it's all part of the same thing, but I just pulled individual parts, is when she's given her little I wanna die speech.
Oh, yeah.
I got what I needed. I got it all. Don't let them keep taking it away from me. And then Daddy used to tell me I'd fight my way into this world, and I'd fight my way out.
Some good lines.
Yeah. I think my favorite one is the I got what I needed. That's my favorite.
Mine is still, I think it's got to be this one from It's the Magic of Risking Everything for a Dream That Nobody Sees But You.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's probably my favorite one out of all of them. But that's me.
I like that one.
Okay. Do you want to do it then?
Yeah.
All right.
So, our rating, what did you give it?
I'm struggling with my rating right now. And I'm like, it's better than an 8, but it's not as good as my 9s. So it's like an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, but it doesn't let you put 8.5. So you gotta pick 8 or 9.
Well, for me, I'm putting 8.5 in my head.
In your head.
I'll lean it towards the 9 if I had to.
Yeah, on IMDb it only lets you go whole numbers. So, mine is the same thing. Like, I was really struggling what I thought it was. Because mine is, it's like, it's better than a lot of my 8s. But then some of my 9s, I'm like, well, it's not quite up to par with my 9s. So it's like an 8.8. So I just gotta put it at a 9 on IMDb.
Yeah,
but
that's how I feel too.
I'm not mad that I have to put it at a 9. Like, I really enjoyed this movie. And I really liked it because, I mean, like I said, it's a boxing movie. So I wasn't too thrilled to watch it. But it's completely different. Like, for me, this one, I like it so much more than Rocky because they made it to where I really felt for Maggie. Like, I really got connected with her. And that, it takes a lot for me to get connected to a character in a movie because movies are very short. So I was, like, really connected to it, where in Rocky, I didn't really connect with him too much. And then the way that they ended it, with that just big, huge shock that she gets paralyzed because of a fight, I didn't see it coming. The acting in this movie is really good. The cinematography is really good. Like, I think the only thing is, like, it kind of starts out a little bit slow, and that's, like, my only complaint.
Yeah, I'd agree with you about the starting out slow thing. I would. I mean, there's a nice connection with the characters, you know. Frankie and Maggie fill a void that either both of them are missing, you know.
Yeah.
Him trying to be a father, her not having a father, it kind of fills that void that they need.
Well, it's not even just her not having a father and him not having his daughter. It's neither of them really have any family. Like, 'cause yeah, she has her mom and stuff, but obviously we find out her mom doesn't really care.
Yeah.
So it's just if they both fill that huge void of not having really any family at all.
Yeah. Kind of loners.
Yeah.
And they connect through boxing. Makes you feel for them, for sure.
Yeah.
I know, I felt. I was like, oh my god, this is so sad.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard because, like, if I haven't been watching multiple movies with these characters, I have a really hard time connecting with them. Like, yeah, I enjoy watching movies, and yeah, I like characters, but it makes it harder when I've got this character for 2 hours versus when I've got this character for 48 hours over a span of 20-something movies, you know?
Or like the Harry Potter series, or, you know, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, where you've got these specific characters for more than 2 hours, whereas this one, you've got the character for 2 hours. They did a really good job of making a connection with the characters.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that end part gets me every time. Every time. And like, I don't know, it reminds me of my grandmother. That end part. It's like quality, not quantity.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good movie. I really liked it a lot. So our next film is The Truman Show from 1998.
Jim Carrey film!
So we do have our event coming up at the end of July. It is our Harry Potter event, which we will be talking about the Goblet of Fire, the Order of the Phoenix, and the Half-Blood Prince. And we will have our guests returning for that one. So that will be fun. We are still offering premium. If you would like to become a premium member, it's just $1 a month, and you will get uncut episodes, early release episodes, and special monthly episodes. For $5 a month, you'll get all of that, and you'll be able to pick a movie of your choice every 50 movies. So there's 4 movies that you could possibly join us for now. And then our next monthly special episode for this month of May is how we rank the first 50 movies that we watched. So that will be all the way to The Truman Show. It will come out the same day as the Truman Show episode. And we are just going to rank them how we thought they should be ranked based on our own personal opinion. We are including Deathly Hallows Part 2 in that because we have both seen it, so we can go ahead and rank it.
Yeah, we can.
Even though we haven't talked about it yet.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the midnight premiere for it, so I mean...
So if you could leave us ratings and reviews, let us know how we're doing. That would be really great. Also, if you could share the show with your friends, that would be great too. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to get in contact with us, we are on all 3 of those. Or you can email us. You can find every episode at the website, catandjusttalkthebest.podbean.com. And our music is by Audio Binger, and you can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. And I think that's all we've got for this one.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll see you next week with The Truman Show. Bye.
Bye.